What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Playconomics podcast, breaking down the business behind the world of video games. I'm one of your hosts, Bobby Kawecki, and joined with me today is my good friend.
And I am the other host, Matt Mascari, bringing you Playconomics, episode 3. So let's get right into it. Start it off the way we usually do. Bobby, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Whole lot of nothing. No, I just the usual. Like I mentioned in the last episode, it's a little bit of a flux time for me, where I'm trying a couple of things. I downloaded Eldest Souls.
Oh,
I was talking about that last week. Little indie Dark Souls kind of thing. Very fun, very cool. I'm early in it, so I don't want to give too many thoughts and opinions on it, but I like it. It's fun, and it's definitely got a lot of the feels of what I like about Dark Souls, right?
So it's hard.
It's Dark Souls mixed with like Shadow of the Colossus, right? Because it's just bosses pretty much. Like there's no filler. But it's Dark Souls, Bloodborne type. It's actually very Bloodborne. It's a lot faster.
Okay.
There isn't really shield, but there's like cool builds, and it definitely encourages, from what I can see, like at least 2 to 3 runs, like to see all the different builds that you'd want to get out of it. What about you, man? Update the people on your Dark Souls run.
It went bad. It went really bad.
How'd it go bad?
So what had happened was I never got past the Cemetery of Ashes. My brother was actually playing my account, got me through the Cemetery of Ashes after he was playing that first boss for like 3 hours. And then since then, I have not gotten past I got past one like Black Knight mini boss. And now I'm just stuck in this castle where there's this dragon and he's just chilling, breathing fire everywhere. And I'm a little lost, not gonna lie. Game's real hard. Real hard. Difficult time.
So you beat the first boss.
Yeah, he is down.
Yes?
He is down. I did not successfully beat him. But
you're past him.
Yeah, I am past.
And you're in Firelink Shrine, right? You would have had to. You would have had to go to Firelink Shrine, because then you went to the. You want to hear how bad I am? Is the first level like the High Wall of Lothric?
I'm gonna check.
If it is, I feel viciously ashamed, because it's been at least a year, maybe more, since I've like gone just a little bit hands-on with Dark Souls 3.
So my question is there any story at all?
Oh yeah.
So like I'm gonna see like cinematics and like cutscenes and like quests.
Okay, so my elevator pitch for the Dark Souls 3 story is: the world went bad, and then they found these 4 people who they thought could fix the world, and then those people didn't fix the world, and so now you're literally like humanity's last, very last, bottom of the barrel, 12,000th round pick to fix everything.
And let me tell you something. I feel like a 12,000th round pick. I really do.
I believe in you, though. So you're definitely at the High Wall of Lothric. That's the first area. Because you confirm.
Yeah, I googled it.
What is your build? What are you putting points into?
I forget how many points I had, but I put it into strength and vitality for right now.
So if you're going just like a standard bruiser class,
for sure,
strength, endurance, because most of the time endurance controls your stamina, right?
Yep.
So the more endurance you have, the more hits you can dish out. And you can stagger in Dark Souls too, right?
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need a lot of health if you have a decent shield, right? So if you pump points into endurance, that kind of offsets things.
Yeah. So I am also restarting for sure.
You're gonna pick Pyromancer?
No.
You're gonna just do this the right way?
So I'm still gonna go Knight or Warrior. I want to pick a better item because I picked the freaking Ring of Health. And
I don't remember what the items are in Dark Souls 3.
the 10%, they're like random things, but I'm gonna do a little bit more like personal research and like see what they are, because I just picked the flat health increase because I didn't want to read any of them, and I'm regretting that immensely.
Yeah. I know the only one I know, because in Bloodborne you get a starting gift. But in Dark Souls you do.
Yeah.
I remember in Dark Souls 1, because there's a key in Dark Souls 1 that opens a shortcut to a late game area that if you like speed run through gets you like a super OP item very early, but you have to know, like someone has to tell you where to go.
Yeah.
There's like no way you would find it on your own unless you're like really exploring and getting lucky.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3 is great. Dark Souls 3 is awesome.
It's fun. It was very frustrating. I hopped into Apex. Was even more frustrated because I was going from being in a bad headspace, losing at Dark Souls, to playing a competitive game, and I was getting rolled. So then I downloaded Fable. So I'm playing Fable 2 now, and it is just a gem of a game. It is so
You're
relaxing.
a little all over the place, huh? You're definitely...
I'm reliving my 12-year-old dream of Fable 2, and it is an amazing game.
Yeah, Fable 2, I've like barely ever touched Fable, but I know people love them, and I love that you love them, Matt.
Spoiler, sister dies. It's literally the first scene of the game, so I don't even care. It's fine. You'll be all right. Play it.
Plus, Fable 2 came out at least 10 plus years ago at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Get over it, people. All right, Matt, these people have heard enough about how much and how good you are at Dark Souls. Why don't you tell them what we're talking about here today?
So,
because this isn't a news episode. This is a one-off episode. This is a fun topic episode.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely a topic that we're just timeless. It'll be timeless. And we're talking about the gaming industry and the coronavirus. Because who's not talking about the coronavirus? It's been here for like a year and a half now. Everyone's talking about it. We're still talking about it. Masks are going back on. Masks are not going back on. How do you feel about it? We don't care. We're not a political podcast. But
that's what I like to hear. I was worried where you were going with that for a second.
I don't give a shit. I don't care what your beliefs are. But what I do care about is the gaming industry. So I'm going to share my screen. Real technically savvy over here.
Oh, yeah,
and we're gonna
buddy.
Look at a graph.
Let's make it happen.
We're going to look at a graph.
Yeah. So before we pull that up, what is your thesis on the gaming industry as a whole as it pertains to the last sort of 18 months, right? Because we went through a pretty tumultuous time as a people, and I feel like gaming is one of the few industries that saw a massive uptick, right?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely short term and long term. It definitely had like a huge short term spike, but it led into, and I'll show when I pull up the graph, but it led into a pretty good uptime comparatively compared to other industries. But I think for the main part, it was a source of connection. You can go out there, play basketball with your friends, do sports with your friends, go to the bar, go anywhere with any type of social interaction. But you know what you can do? You go shoot some zombies. You could hop in the Apex arena. You could hop in a raid. And you could be connected to all those people that were so far away during the coronavirus. And it is the perfect social outlet for the times that we were facing in March 2020. So, with that being said,
yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, pull up the graph. Let's see where we're at, because I'm really curious to kind of visualize where we're at, because I think a lot of people, like you'll see articles on like Forbes and stuff like that about the gloom and doom state, like the financial state of the gaming industry right now.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, it's down. But like, I feel like you have to put it into context.
Yeah. So can you see the graph now?
I can see the graph. The graph is within my eyeballs.
Awesome. So we got here the gaming industry total revenue for...
And this is in billions of dollars, I'm assuming, correct?
Yep, in billions. So what we're looking at right now is January 2017 all the way to April 2021. And as we see, we got this big old spike every year between November and January, which is the Black Friday
holidays,
to the holidays. We see it repeat here again. We see this nice little summer boom, and then we see another holiday, and then we see the coronavirus. So right here, we're looking at March, April. From March over here, boom, April, we come up, we go a 1.6 billion total revenue to 4.7 billion total revenue.
And just for context for people listening at home who can't visualize this, if you're not watching, first of all, if you're listening to this, pull your car over. Are you on the freeway? Pull the car over. Stop. Pull out your phone, pull up the YouTube video, and understand this graph.
Yeah.
The peak of March 20 is higher than any other holiday season peak of the previous 3 years.
Yeah. By almost over about $1.3 billion over that peak. And then,
which is crazy.
Huge revenue boom. It's like a 25% revenue boom. We see a dip in June where when everyone was allowed to go outside again. And then subsequently after, when nobody was allowed to go outside again, we see another boom. We see another steady climb. And we're sitting at the holiday boom for 2021 at 7.7 billion. So that would
now, is this double. Just game sales, or does this also include hardware?
Yep. So this is game content, hardware, and accessories in that number.
Okay.
And we're seeing that pretty much 100% boom from 2019, the 2019 holiday season to the 2021 holiday season. I guess it would be the 2018, and you guys know what I'm saying. But from 2 years ago versus this past holiday season was almost 100% increase of sales. And then we get to what Bobby was talking about at that level off peak. So currently we're sitting at like a $4.7 billion revenue, which is still, again, that 1.3 above normal revenue numbers. So even though it is
normal spikes.
So even if it is in a decline, that average pace that we're looking at is significantly higher than where we would have been in 2019.
The resting average is higher, right? And I think there's a couple things that could be contributing to this. Number one, new console generation launch, right?
True.
So a lot of people are buying new consoles. Excuse me. Number two, Switch. I would be willing to bet that a significant over, half of that spike in that early coronavirus sales was Switches and Animal Crossing. Because that launched like right when everything started going down.
Yeah, and if you look at this, we see the March steady increase, and the April was actually when Animal Crossing came out.
I'm curious. Hold on. Animal Crossing. What's in New Horizons?
Yeah. It did sell a lot. I was trying to procure a Switch during that time, and it was hard. It was really, really hard to get a Switch right in the beginning of coronavirus.
So just for context, I'm looking this up here. 31 million sales of Animal Crossing, 31 million copies of Animal Crossing. And what makes this even more impressive during that first jump is Nintendo doesn't count digital purchases.
Really?
They don't report digital purchases. So that's 31 million physical copies of Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is bonkers.
Yeah, that is That is definitely high. I'm trying to look up what is the highest growth, the most revenue generating game for the Switch right now. I want to see if it
I'll tell you, I guarantee you it's Mario
Smash.
Kart.
Oh, I would think it was Smash.
I'm curious to find out. Before we announce it, in the comments below, if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube,
what do you think it is?
it's Mario Kart.
What is the Switch's
Has to be Mario Kart.
successful game? I'm thinking it might be Zelda.
You
were correct.
Of course. You know what? Who you think you're dealing with?
You were correct.
I knew
Would you
it.
like to know what number 2 is?
So the second best-selling game on Switch?
Yep, I'll give you the top 4.
All right, so Mario Kart definitely. Animal Crossing, yes.
Yep.
I wouldn't, right?
It's on there.
Animal Crossing is probably number 2. I would go Mario Kart, Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you I haven't looked this up. Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, Breath of the Wild, and Odyssey.
No.
Really?
It is. You got 3 out of 4 of them right, but the last one was in the wrong order, and you got one of them completely wrong. So it was Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, Smash, Breath of the Wild.
Oh, I don't know why I just had a mild aneurysm and completely disregarded Smash's existence.
Smash is it. And to be honest, I think if Animal Crossing hadn't come out during coronavirus, Smash
it would not be
have sold as well.
No.
Maybe.
So I guess
yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe it would be in the top 5, but not number 2.
Oh, certainly not. And again, I had never played an Animal Crossing before this Animal Crossing. I bought it. Mm-hmm. I'm not like a Minecraft town sim, Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, but it was fun. It was cute. I built the town.
Yeah.
I couldn't build a bar in Animal Crossing.
I don't think
or a gentleman's club. They wouldn't let me get the zoning permits in Animal Crossing to build
Tom Nook. Definitely not going to let you do that. Yes, kids can't just let you run around doing a gentleman's club.
Tom Nook is the biggest hustler on the planet. Okay, Tom Nook is a mafioso shark. He's not a raccoon. Okay, Tom Nook comes to you and goes, "Hey, you want to go on vacation? Not a problem. Hey, you're my friend. Take this cell phone. Take this house. Take this campground. Take this tent. Now you pay me. You cannot do anything. Now you pay me. I own you." That is Tom Nook's business. Tom Nook. Okay. I want to get Tom Nook on the podcast. I want to get Tom Nook on the podcast to find out all of about his VC merger plans. Okay. To just gobble up companies.
I'm sure we can get somebody to do a mean Tom Nook impression.
Okay. you think his sons are running that little five and dime? No, they're out there breaking kneecaps after dark for everyone who didn't collect.
Timmy and Tommy.
Oh, the cherry harvest was bad this year. No, pay us.
Your turnip stocks aren't doing well.
It'd be a real shame. It'd be a real shame if something happened. Wouldn't it?
Pay for somebody to take one of those strings off your tent. By the way, that was a $50,000 tent.
And you know what? The price just went up. Oh god. So I guess my main question, my main thesis here on this whole just general state of the market as it pertains is, number one, is this a correction where it's a stop on its way back down to that normal, right? Or is this the new normal? And what I mean by that are we going to see a similar pattern? Is this just a slow kind of cooling off of the games market where people are going back to work? People who maybe joined in for the first time, like you said, everybody's going outside a little bit more. People are just ready to get back into that kind of productive society. Or has the attach rate converted into something where now these people are saying, "Oh, I love games. Maybe I'll only buy 1 or 2 a year. I'm not a hardcore gamer, But I'm in it now, right? Like I have the Switch. Why not? What do you think?
Gotcha. So I'm gonna pull the list back up or the chart back up because it actually breaks it down into what people are buying. And if you look at it, this top black line, and again for viewers just listening, I'll try my best to explain it for you. But
don't do it, man. Pull over your car. Pull over your car. Be safe.
Oh yeah.
And pull up the video on YouTube.
For an easy number, I would say about 80% of this, of the 7.7 billion, is game content and not hardware. So we did see a little bit. We definitely saw a hardware boom, but if you look at it, the hardware is not really skyrocketing at any point like the content is. So it's all really content and software, not hardware. So it looks like more people definitely bought systems, but it seems like people that had systems were investing in getting new content and new games and things like that. So I think in that retrospect, like in that mindset of this, where we saw a lot of people buy content, and that worries me a little bit that it could drop back down just because it's not a lot of new people getting into the market. We saw all of those bumps, but I think for the most part we saw a lot of content added, and I think those are just repeat players, and they're just going to continue to buy games, and they might trickle down a little bit, but I don't know. It's a confusing metric for sure.
I'd be curious to know, under the umbrella of content, right?
Yeah.
How much of that content was in-game purchases? And what I mean by that is, how many of these people spent more money in Warzone or on Fortnite skins or shark cards in GTA Online rather than just because they were playing, just because they wanted to be within the ecosystem? That, I think, would be a very interesting comparison to break down.
Yes. And I also think that we, as players of video games, the way that we play on console, we are taking those numbers from that graph and putting it to a console. I'm very interested to see, it doesn't break down on this graph, but are those mobile game purchases? Because there was a huge mobile game boom that we could talk about in a second, but we saw that was a huge place where we saw a lot of video games pick up, was in the mobile game sector during that time, because you didn't need to buy a Switch, you didn't need to go buy an Xbox or a PS4 or anything like that. You just had your phone
was in your pocket.
Yeah, and you had Dragon Veil. Also, anyone who hasn't played Dragon Veil, it is a great game. See the comments for my Dragon Veil code. Add me. I want your gems.
Please. You're really all in on this. Okay.
I love Dragon Veil. It's such a good game, and I paid a lot of money during coronavirus to play Dragon Veil, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's go to a different topic. Do something else. I got a double rainbow dragon. Come see me. But
I'm not even gonna attempt to begin to touch on this. So springboarding off of that, right?
Yep.
Let's assume this both ways and kind of game plan it out from there. Number one, that this is the new normal, right? That people who own consoles are becoming more invested in those consoles over time. Number one.
Sure.
And on the flip side, this was people who had a console that they maybe only played once or twice a year for like the Madden and Call of Duty release, and now they're faltering either way, right?
Yep.
Of the big three, where do you kind of rank them moving forward within those two kind of frameworks, right? So like, if this is the new normal, who do you think wins the most? And if things are sloping down, who loses the least, I guess is the question.
I think that if I was gonna say who wins out of, like, who got the best bump from coronavirus out of those big three, I would say the Switch. And I would say the Switch just because, one, it was cheaper, two, it's handheld, and three, it's built for a more casual fan base. So you can have a pretty good time playing with a wider variety of family members when you're playing Mario Party than if you're trying to get them to play Warzone with you. Like
I'm right there with you. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Like my parents won't play Warzone with me or Apex Legends, but I could probably sit them down and we could play a game of Mario Kart, or we could play a game of Mario Party and have a good time.
Exactly. Plus, the thing I think that we're both overlooking here is that a lot of parents who are then working from home, right, need a distraction for your kid kind of thing, right? So
Yes,
I'm right there with you that I think Switch definitely wins on the younger scale of the demographic there, just by sheer availability of price, like you said.
Yep.
And I think Sony had the potential last year to really not stop it, but close that gap. And I think with that whole big debacle they had with The Last of Us 2, with the leak, with the controversy, with this and that, despite that it won all the awards and everybody's telling everybody else how great they are. And don't get me wrong, I love Last of Us 2. I think, don't get me started on Last of Us 2. I will be here for a long time. But I think compared to what it could have sold, and it sold gangbusters.
Yeah.
Sony had two console-ending games that last summer, which was Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. And I think had that first, stumble out of the gate not happen, I think Sony could have closed the gap much more. I'm not even going to talk about Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I was playing my Switch during that part of the pandemic, so I don't even know what it would be, what their major releases were during that time. I was playing a lot of Animal Crossing, and I want to say Smash was definitely out by then. I was probably playing a lot of Smash and Fire Emblem Three Houses. What a game.
Really?
What a game. I loved it. Oh my God. I put so many hours into Fire Emblem Three Houses.
It's on the list, but turn-based has to really catch me the right way. Otherwise, I'm just like, I guess.
For what it is. Have you ever played any of the Fire Emblem games?
No, only just kind of like seen it at a distance.
It's good. The story for that one specifically was really, really good. And I hadn't played any of them in a long time, so I was kind of wary of what I was going into, and if I remembered it the way that it was going to be. And it was a pretty good game. I would pick it up.
All right.
Sure.
I'll add that to the list.
Oh yeah.
So then I guess where do we go from here, man? Right? I know you were saying about mobile games, so definitely tell me where you're at with how mobile games factor into this whole, state of health of the gaming industry where it is right now.
I think it's just accessibility. The key and I think the driving factor behind mobile games is short bursts, advertisements, and accessibility. You can play a mobile game for 15 minutes while you're waiting for someone to answer an email if you're in between tasks. You can play it while you're on the train. You have ad revenue. Microtransactions are just part of every mobile game, just the basic structure of how they function. They're cheap to start off with. Most of the time you're paying, it's either a free game or a $9.99 game. And accessibility, everybody's got a phone. Everybody in the world has a phone now. Everybody has access, or not, I guess not everybody, but a good majority has access to that type of technology where you're sitting and playing those games. And you could be marketed to, depending on all of the content that you're taking in on that phone. Somebody analyzes it, spits you out a short 10-second game that you could play in your downtime while you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing or anything else.
I know you had an article. Do you have a screen share of mobile game revenue? Just out of curiosity.
See if I can pull up the number somewhere. It's not a chart or anything. It's just so it looks like mobile gamers from at the end of March in 2022 went from 1.2 billion mobile game players to by the end of March 1.7 billion. So it looks like it was a 46% increase, and the data that was getting pulled out of those games, so the amount of time for that month, and went up 62%. So not only were more people playing, people were playing for 62% more time than usual.
Got it. Can you hold on? So I want to see just like rough company value, right? So of the big three, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, can you pull up their tickers? Because I'm so curious to see. Obviously, all of them took a hit March 20, right? But where were they at March 19, and where were they at March 21, right?
Yeah.
Because the reason so everybody can kind of get an idea of why we're talking about this now. Video game companies, most video game companies at least, their fiscal calendar doesn't operate on a count, like it doesn't run, January to end of December, right? It runs April to June is first quarter for most games companies. So we're a little bit past that now. So it's definitely a good time to kind of recap, I think, where we're at. Okay, I'm curious to know.
You want March 2020?
So March. So for the last 3 years. So March 19, March 20, and March 21.
Okay. Let me get a 5-year view real quick. So 2019.
While Matt pulls those up, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor. This week, the episode is sponsored by us. Okay? Putting our time, effort, blood, sweat, tears, lots of tears, lots of technical issues and tears. Okay? And just for the small price of nothing, you can subscribe, right? And be blessed, educated, entertained, encompassed, enveloped, and enthralled by the best finance news pertaining to video games, the gaming world, esports, gaming accessories, brand deals, mergers, acquisitions. Matt, I'm running out of breath and words, so I really
you were doing well. I'm going to tell you the numbers for Microsoft, and then I'm going to look up the next one.
Okay, so where was Microsoft at?
Microsoft in March 2019 was at about per share was about 157 per share.
Okay.
So now we're looking at 2020. I take that back. That was 2020. So 157 in 2020, and then 2019 we're looking at 117. So we're seeing a $40 increase, and then March of this year we're looking at 229.
So a gigantic increase, right? So almost 100% from 2019, right? Almost 100% increase.
I was probably about 65, 70.
Okay. So that being said, right there, I think it proves the point across the board here that is the industry down right now? Yeah. But on the whole, take a step back, people, and no, it's not down, it's up, and it's doing better than it ever has been. And I'd be willing to wager a guess that it's only up from here. The minute, unless we go to full-scale war with China, this chip shortage will be alleviated much sooner than I think people give credit for. Supply lines will open up. Yeah. And the minute, we talked about it last week or 2 episodes ago with Sony, under projecting how many PS5s they wanted to sell, right? Switches are flying off the shelves like hotcakes, especially since they have that new OLED Switch coming out too, right? The minute this dust kind of settles, this fire's not getting put out anytime soon.
And you gotta imagine, we were in a time period where we weren't allowed to create the microchips and things like that. So the product wasn't able to even be made. So that's where we're seeing all of these shortages and all of the backlogs in supply chain issues. So those will eventually go out with time. Like with time, people will catch up, and the warehouse and industry will catch up to the demand, and we won't see shortages like that anymore.
And I'll just say it. Yep. This isn't Nintendo artificial demand. Nintendo purposely underproduces, right? It's an industry. It's like the worst kept secret in the industry that Nintendo underproduces consoles to drive scarcity and want for it. This is not what that is. So Sony has no ego. They have all wallet when it comes to that. If they could sell you more PS5s, they would sell you more PS5s, right? And I'm sure Microsoft is exactly the same way.
Yeah, I agree.
What out of curiosity, where was Sony's share price during that same time period?
Gotcha. So we are looking at 2019. Give me a second. Oh, we're in
Take two. Take 2 seconds.
I'll take 4. Look at that. All right, 2019.
If you take more than 4, I'll have to do another sponsorship.
Please don't.
I'll have to do another ad roll.
All right, we're looking at $50 versus that was 2019. And then we're looking at that was 2018, $50. 2019 was just about $44, so a little bit down. April 2020 was 53. April this year, 101. So that was a 100% increase from last year.
And that is with not being able to sell enough, like the amount of consoles that you want.
Yeah. And specifically for that chart, it pretty much balanced out at that 101. So since then, it's been sitting at about currently it is at 101 as it was in April. So it's been fluctuating about $10 since then.
And I mean, the reason, like, people are like, oh, I know what's going to happen. Somebody in the comments will be like, oh, well, Sony's undervalued. The Microsoft's better than Sony. I'm just going to, can I put this fire out really quick? Because I'm fired up. I had a good day.
Go for
and
it.
I hear this a lot on Twitter, that Sony's not undervalued, okay? And Microsoft is not overvalued. Sony's bread and butter is the PlayStation, okay? Microsoft, Xbox is just one tentacle. People forget. The amount of money Microsoft made with Zoom during the pandemic, running parallel to their gaming revenue, is the reason their stock price is so much higher than Sony. It's because they have multiple products across their portfolio. Yeah. It's not because they're a better game company.
Yeah.
And I'll see anyone at the flagpole at 3:00 who disagrees with me.
Yeah. And like, you got to also imagine that share value doesn't intrinsically mean higher value. Like, we could look at what the actual valuation of the company is by looking at how many actually shares are distributed versus, because I don't know off the top of my head, and I don't really want to look right now, but if proportionally they have the same amount of share per, like, they could have the same total value if their shares to amount of share, or share price to amount of shares they balance out. So the share price of a stock price of a company is not an accurate representation of their true value.
No, of course not. It's a representation of market demand.
Yeah.
Right? That's all it is. Matt, I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
What a
deep,
time.
Gritty finance talk.
What a time.
What else are we talking? What are there any other topics you'd like to cover on this special one-off episode sponsored by us?
Love sponsoring some episodes. Those are definitely the topics I wanted to talk about. You got anything you want to address real quick?
So within the finance space, I guess the only thing that I want to kind of touch on pertaining to this is, what does the mixture of revenue look like, right? So what I mean by that is, from Microsoft, I know you and I are like diametrically opposed to the fact that I don't think Microsoft makes money on Game Pass.
It does.
I don't think so.
Next episode, I'm going to pull it up because they make a literal ton of money off of Game Pass.
but I guarantee you, Game Pass is a loss leader for Microsoft.
This is your worst take.
No.
Okay. Next episode is Game Pass. I don't like. Episode is Game Pass.
Okay, so here's why, and I'm not just saying this to be like a Sony fanboy, right?
Okay.
I look at companies with a similar business model within the space, right? So you've got Netflix, you've got Amazon.
Yep.
Right? And let's just take those two, because those are probably the most textbook examples of loss leader subscriptions, right? What makes Xbox different?
Then what?
So what is it about Xbox that you're telling me they're turning a profit on the same business model that didn't make Netflix and Amazon money in the same amount of time? What makes Game Pass so much different of a product and Microsoft so much different of a company where Game Pass is not being run at a loss?
I would argue it's because most of Netflix's original product was not theirs, and they had to pay They had to pay off that. Game Pass is a lot of previously Xbox titles that they probably already have pre-existing relationships with. They probably make just as much off somebody getting that off Game Pass than they did actually purchasing that CD. But I have no idea because I haven't looked into it. Next episode is about to be Game Pass debate. And if I'm wrong, you pick a point in Dark Souls and I will not play another video game until I get there.
Or get Pat. Oh, buddy. Deal. You're on. I'm planting the flag right now that Microsoft is currently at this time. I'm going to get hyper specific here with this proclamation. At this point in time, Microsoft is not turning a profit on Game Pass. My reasoning for that is because despite the fact that they have quite a bit of Xbox and Microsoft family content on Game Pass, I would say that is the top 10% of content, and the bottom percent is licensing. And that is overpaid life.
I don't think so.
Look, okay.
We'll figure it out.
Back 4 Blood, that new Left 4 Dead game, right? That everybody's talking about is a day and date release on Game Pass. Mm-hmm. How much money do you think Microsoft paid for that? And do you think that is the only acquisition like that? I think every day and date acquisition from Microsoft for a game that popular is minimum 7 figures.
We're gonna figure it out. I don't know how we're gonna get the number of what did it cost them to put out Game Pass and maintain the games on Game Pass, but we can certainly look up what their revenue numbers on it, because I think I've seen it and it's high.
I'm getting Phil on the phone. I'm getting him on the phone.
Put him on I'll call him. I'll FaceTime him right now.
I'll get him on the phone.
Imagine if we had one game industry on that. How good this channel would be if it's not just me.
If I had one game, if I get Phil Spencer on the phone, first of all, let me be crystal clear.
We had the clout.
If I got in a room with Phil Spencer, the first sentence out of my mouth was, "I will pay you to work for you." I sell out immediately. Okay. Because I do think Game Pass is quite genius, and I think it's the future of the industry, but I don't think it's turning a profit. I don't think it's turning a profit.
Okay. That's fine. Well, until next week, you decide what game you would like or what boss you would like me to get up to. Chat.
I'll tell you right now, it's Abyss Watchers.
Damn it. It's
Abyss Watchers.
I think you were saying that the other day. You were like, just wait until you get to the Abyss Watchers. Everyone else in chat, subscribers, listening to it on whatever platform you on, what boss should I get to if Bobby is right? He won't be. But
when I'm right.
But if Bobby is right, what boss am I getting up to? And I can't play anything else until then.
But no. Cut this getting out to bullshit, okay? Because if you just, I can get up to Abyss Watchers, okay?
Oh no, I gotta beat it.
Okay. You have to beat the Abyss Watchers.
That's fair.
Okay, let's really draw out the lines here, good sir.
All right.
But yeah, this was a great episode. I had a great time doing this,
sure.
and I'm looking forward to doing more of these like specified little deep dive topics with you.
Oh yeah, it's been a pleasure as always.
And that's about it, guys. Until next time, this has been the Playconomics podcast. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, okay? Tip your cabbie. Spay neuter your pets. Tip your waitresses, your bus boys. Whatever you got to do. Grease the wheels. Keep the smiles rolling. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, happy gaming, guys.